My name's Mary Ellen. I'm 30 years old and I'm a native of Roanoke, Virginia. I graduated Hollins University in 2012. I was a Horizon student. I was one of their adult students. And now I work at Hollins and I'm the transfer coordinator in admissions and I'm director of the Horizon program. I had my first drink when I was 16 and my first drug when I was 16 also. And I was an active addict for 7 years all the way through college. And I hit rock bottom when I was 22 and went to the rescue mission in Roanoke. They have a free recovery program and it's 12 to 18 months long, and I was there for 14 months and worked there for another year as support staff, which is like an extension of the recovery program. You still live at the rescue mission, but you work there. And then after that, I came to Hollins in the fall of 2009 as an adult student in their Horizon program, and I was here for 3 years and graduated and started working here right after I finished. And while I only have today, by May 5th, I'll have 8 years sober. There wasn't one person in particular that helped me. There were a lot of people that helped me in the beginning with recovery. Certainly my parents and my older sister absolutely helped me and supported me. And the way that they did that in the beginning was they stopped enabling me. They stopped supporting me financially. They stopped bailing me out of the different situations that I found myself in. And once I got to the rescue mission recovery program, everyone that was there helped me. And it wasn't just the people that worked there in the recovery program, it was also the folks that stayed in the shelter, because we saw them every single day and you build relationships with them. And slowly they would start to find out that I was in the recovery program and they would cheer us on and root for us and help us when we would stumble. So it was everyone at the rescue mission, and it was the people in the 12-step programs that helped me. It was the people in my church, the people in the community that knew what I was going through. So it was a lot of people that helped me, and my higher power that helped me in the beginning. I realized that I needed help with my addiction when I woke up on the floor of a jail cell and had absolutely no memory whatsoever of how I got there. I woke up with my face down in a blue sticky mat and a woman on this little bench beside me. We both kind of came to at the same time, and by came to, I mean we were both out, passed out. And after I saw her, I saw the little silver toilet. And I knew that I'd really messed up that time. There have been many times that I wanted to give up completely, particularly in the very beginning. I didn't think I was truly an alcoholic. I thought it was just kind of a phase I was going through, so it took me a while to really accept it. And when you first get sober, you really have to be willing to do whatever it takes. And living at the rescue mission is really difficult, especially when you come from an affluent family and have never experienced anything like that before. But initially it was very difficult, and I did want to give up a few times. And there are still times now that I want to give up because it would be so much easier to quiet the voices in my head that everyone has that are normal. And I think that it would be easy sometimes to just completely give up and give in. But everything that I've worked for would be gone. My family would be gone. My job would be gone. I wouldn't be able to see my stepkids. I wouldn't be able to get married. It would all go away. And I have friends that go back out and pick back up, and you start to question, can you do it too? Can you be normal again? Whatever normal is. I really think there's such thing as normal. But yeah, sometimes I do want to give up.
And if you did, where do you think that it would lead you?
No, I'd be dead. The shame and the guilt that would come with picking back up again, I wouldn't want anyone to see me. I'd be dead. In any number of ways. Probably self-inflicted. I can't begin to imagine how the people that love me felt. I'm not a mom. I'm not a parent. I don't have my own child. So I can't imagine how my parents felt with their baby girl. Not knowing if they were going to find her in a gutter or find out that she'd killed someone in a drunk driving accident. I can't imagine being an older sister and watching your little sister that you loved and cared for and wanted to protect just destroying herself and killing herself and pushing them away. I'm sure they felt confused and angry. And how could such a smart, bright person do something that's so dangerous and ruin her life that way? So I don't really know how they felt, but I imagine it was pretty awful. I would tell someone that is in the same position, a young person, that you're not invincible. There is an end, and you only get one life. I was led to alcohol and drugs because of my inability to talk about how I feel, to talk about my emotions, to talk about what's going on in my mind. And as a teenager and as a human being, we get unhappy thoughts. We get feelings of worthlessness and shame and guilt and self-pity, and have moments of low self-esteem, body image issues, particularly for young girls. And on top of that, being a teenager is really hard. Everything they have to go through every day, trying to fit in, trying not to fit in, and not being able to say out loud, to say what I needed to say about what was going on in my head, led me to drugs and alcohol, because I was looking for something to quiet the voices in my head that we all know we have, and feel better, kind of numb out, try to find a sense of normalcy. And it doesn't quiet the voices. It doesn't make the feelings go away. It just catastrophizes everything and makes them bigger, makes them stronger. You're only feeding the part inside of you that hurts. Because we all have that person inside us that hurts. And for people who are prone to addiction, it's like it's 10 times harder to deal with things. And so it was my inability to talk about how I felt and the emotions that I had going on that really made alcohol and drugs appealing to me. For me, drugs and alcohol made me lose everything. I had to leave college, 2 colleges. I went to a 4-year institution and it didn't work out, and I came home and went to a community college and that didn't work out because of drugs and alcohol, and Then I started working full time, and I got my own apartment with my own cat. I had my own truck, and was young and in my 20s, and lost it all. I had to move back in with my parents, which is really hard when you move out and you have to move back in, particularly when you get intoxicated and arrested and put in jail and you can't remember it. But I lost everything. When I went to the rescue mission recovery program, you're only allowed to bring 2 pairs of pants, 5 shirts, 2 dresses, 2 skirts, and 3 pairs of shoes, and I think 5 pieces of jewelry. And I really like clothes. I lost everything. Lost my freedom, lost my integrity, lost my money. I thought I had lost my family, which is one of the worst feelings in the world. Yeah. I think when you get to the place that I was in, you have to lose everything, which I wouldn't wish on anybody. Peer pressure was not the start of me using drugs or alcohol. It was just with one friend, and she didn't pressure me at all. It was just there. I was looking for an escape. I became that peer pressure. I became the person that pushed others to join me in heavy drinking or using drugs because I was very lonely. And I thought if I could get other people to do what I was doing, then it would seem more normal that I wasn't overindulging or that I wasn't abusing alcohol. And so I became that peer pressure, which is not a good feeling at all. It's not what someone wants to be. I lost a lot of friends. They stopped coming over. They stopped going out with me. Every time I would drink, I would end up in a blackout, and I wouldn't remember what I did or what I said. And the things that I did and said were pretty horrible, pretty despicable. I wasn't Mary Ellen anymore. I was a very angry, miserable human being that wanted others to be miserable with her. So I lost a lot of friends, or people that I thought were friends. You know, for a while I was fun and I could get the party started. But then after a while, it wasn't really a party. It was just me going on a down spiral. When I was a teenager, I wish someone would have said, "Speak up." Tell someone how you feel. It doesn't have to be your parents. I know it's really hard to go to your parents and say that you're suffering or that you're hurting or that you don't feel quite right. But tell somebody. It's so important. Talking about your feelings and your emotions is so important and could save your life. You can't get me to shut up about it now. But I wish someone had said, just say what you need to say. I wish that my parents or the adults around me would have known how important it is to communicate and to talk about how you feel and to talk about what's going on. And for the parents and the adults, particularly the parents, to recognize that it's really hard for teenagers to talk to their parents about what's going on, because some of it's probably embarrassing or they think they're weird or maybe crazy. I wish I would have been told to talk about it to somebody. I had friends that probably hung around because I could have a good time, that it was fun and wild. But I didn't lose any friends once I got sober and in recovery. Gained a lot of friends, but I didn't lose any when I got sober, but I lost a lot at the end when it got pretty dark, because I wasn't well and I was dangerous. There wasn't an aha moment when I knew I needed to be in recovery for the rest of my life. There was the moment where I woke up in jail, where I realized I have a problem. I can't keep going on like this. But there was never that aha moment of, you've got to stay sober for the rest of your life or you're not going to make it. But I was coming to the realization that this is for life was gradual. It took a lot of work with the people at the rescue mission, with the recovery program, with people in 12-step programs, with the church that I attended. It was very gradual. But once I got there, it was very liberating and terrifying at the same time. Knowing every day for the rest of your life, you have to choose whether or not you're going to pick up. And that can be exhausting sometimes. Coming in to just do my job is really hard sometimes when I've got that little person right here inside my brain that's telling me to pick up. Right after jail, my parents, well, a few days after the jail incident, my parents came to me and said, there's this program at the rescue mission. It's free. You can either go there or you can keep doing what you're doing without our support and our help. And so I chose the rescue mission. And I had to move out of my apartment and get rid of all my stuff. And I moved in with my parents. This was the beginning of May, and the next intake for new recovery participants at the rescue mission was the beginning of June. So I had to stay somewhere for the month of May. And I moved in with my parents. But they were going to go visit my dad's sister for like the last week and a half of May. And they wouldn't allow me to stay in their house by myself. And so my friend at the time let me stay with her. And she was the one that ended up driving me to the rescue mission, which was interesting because she was the one that I drank with for the first time, that I tried drugs with for the first time. And she ended up driving me. Let's see, I was 16. And I would have told myself that you are loved and that you're worthy and that you have something wonderful worth living for, and that one day you're going to go to college, and that there's so much more than just what's in your little box of what you can see in that moment when you're 16. And one day you're going to get a really awesome education and a college degree that no one can ever take away from you. And that one day you're going to fall in love. And a really wonderful man is going to ask you to marry him and be a mother to his stepkids. and that there is an end to life. I really felt invincible, and we're just not. And I think I would tell her to speak up and say what you need to say, and say that you're hurting and that you're suffering. And I tell her to say it. No, the first time I drank, I never thought that I would end up going to a homeless shelter and living there for 2 years. After growing up in a wonderful home with a good family, financially stable, well educated, I never thought that would happen. And I think feeling invincible is like driving a car real fast and thinking that you could just keep driving and driving it like that. But eventually you have to hit the brakes, or you run into something else. I think young people, that feeling of instability is exciting and it's good. It makes you feel alive and you want to try new things, and it can make you try a sport or a new instrument or go out for an audition for a play. But it could also destroy people. And finding that balance in between, what is this good adrenaline rush that you're getting, and when you're bordering over to the edge of invincible that could harm you. So it's like speeding in a car. You're either going to hit the brakes and realize that was a good adrenaline rush, but I need to reel it back in and come back to reality, or you're going to smash into something and start a catastrophe with a huge ripple effect.